is a freedom. But I consider myself the luckiest to have had him as a father and a leader of my own. Thank you, Amos, for extending my family, accepting me as who I am, and fighting for liberation. You are loved forever. Ndaluvu.
Arito varwela zwanda zwipfala. Hai Tshivenḓa vha khou tshi kona. Vha songo fhirela vho Solima Paila ngo kona Tshivenḓa. I salute Jiamba Zwavudi. Thank you very much. We are moving to 5.2. Sauluge, where are you? Yeah, you must not be.
Working closely together with him from day one until now. So here is the whole.
Sibopa Shaya Amanja all protocol observed. I would like to start by acknowledging the collective of the ANC, comrades. It's very simple. I've interacted from day one, as my friend here, Mtovu, says. We have interacted from day one when Amos was arrested in Swaziland. Amos, as we have heard from the obituary, that Amos was not a mercenary. Amos was a revolutionary, an internationalist who loved freedom, who always put people first. He was a selfless man. This was the persecution which Amos faced in prison. Lately, when Amos was indisposed, we tried with some comrades Tulani, the lawyer, whom I used to misuse or abuse, and then I would scold him, comrade, you are a lawyer, please go and check the man. And then sometimes, out of the blue, he will just go voluntarily himself and check Amos. He's a shrewd man also. One time he went there, I said, they refused the money. He says, no, they can't refuse the money. They can't refuse the money. How much was the money? I told him. He says, no, I'm going to give that money there. And then he went.
Able to speak yesterday. Also take
Enda vaturini hai nanero arizototendori dzivoisi hadzikubva ngantani yapepo nane arali vangambona ndichikotomotetemera Amos Mbedzi, Jagai's daughter, may his soul rest in peace. She came through and she was like, hey, I have to tell you something. I was like, hey, which one is this one? Yeah, and then she said, I'm not really sure, but I was told your dad was involved in an accident somewhere not in South Africa. Deep inside, I was like, that one is a survivor. Because he was telling me the story of when he missed approximately 5 fatal accidents in one journey. So what happened is, as he was driving, he would hear a voice guiding him. For instance, if the voice says, accelerate, after he accelerates, something would happen where the car had not accelerated. I no longer remember quite well because he told me while I was very young, but just like, if it's an accident, I know he's gonna survive. He used to drive this other white son somewhere back in the years. We were in his house in Polokwane. And then he took us all inside the car. We entered the N1. Somewhere along this journey, he did a U-turn. He went back. He went back and dropped us off. He took that journey alone. The following day, he came with Mr. Quick, aka Chipelpelo, aka Bobongwe, and Moses Marada. They were using Moses Marada's car. And then he's coming in there, walking. Hey, dog, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Good. Where's your car? It's smashed, man. How? Okay. When they showed me pictures, you couldn't tell what kind of a car was it. When he explained the story, it was like when that car crashed into a truck, as it was squashing, where he was, it was open. So when I analyzed this whole thing, I assumed perhaps his instinct alerted him that, hey, the children are gonna go here. So, all right, fast forward. Swaziland. The last time I saw my dad in the South African soil was when we were burying my great-grandmother. As Mr. Mutobo explained, it was a very quick funeral. People were rush hour there, running and rushing and being rushed. Yeah. So to me, it was like, young man, my phone is gonna be off for a few days. Yeah. And that was it. We were somehow used to it. I'm gonna go away for 3 weeks. I'll come back with something. I'm gonna be in where? For a week. I'll call you. My phone will be off. What? So we're used to that. Hey. Then, yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened. We all know. That happened. Yeah. I even burnt my chips that day. They were black. Yeah. So approximately 3 years before I could pay him a visit, I would arrange money. They would come with some excuses. Maybe he was assuming I would break down when I get there. Yeah, so I took around about 3 years to pay him a visit. When I visited him for the first time, we were many. And after some difficulties, actually it's not some difficulties, a lot of difficulties to gain access to him, even though we had done all the paperwork as they required. We were given a room, we sat with him in a room. We were about 8, if not more. Yeah, and of course, Mr. Mutobu was leading us. So when we got there, he came in, he was chained in his feet. But he came in there walking robustly. Hello everyone, what? Like, ow. You know, and then we cheered, he was greeting each and every one of us one by one. And then after that, when we, what do you say? English flies sometimes. When we made eye contact, hey, it was the first day I see my father's tears. And it was like, young man, you see these tears? They're tears of joy. Don't think otherwise. So I'm the strongest man you know. And I'm like, yeah, I know, strong one. You know, yeah, and he was like, no. He was not allowed to speak in Chivenda. But that day, I don't know why, but he was like, and then we spoke, and then while I was hugging him, he proceeded on these things. I was like, hey, you're too strong, hey, you're gonna squash me, man. You know, yeah, and then we said our goodbyes. It was emotional, I can say, especially when it comes to saying goodbyes. Yeah, that is that. We would pay him a visit, and we would always have difficulties. And on all the journeys I have traveled, I would be with Mr. Mutobu. We would be sharing stories, and I would ask him, hey, you're not a politician, you know nothing about politics, you're not interested in politics, and this is a political happenstance. But here you are. Very brief answer. Yeah. So there was this other visit where he was asking, hey, you never told me of your what's happening in your life, man. Have you met somebody? Come on, tell me, boy. Come on. And I went about beating around the bushes because, yeah. And then there was a moment of silence, and he was like, the greatest offense you can do to me is to hurt a woman. So, hey, that registered. And then we would visit this 15, sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes no contact at all. Sometimes we would make contact through the self-welcoming. What? The bus? Are you sure? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it was tough, but when one considers the kind of person they are dealing with, that would just elevate some level of strength. I'll fast forward. Before the year end 2020, he would call and say, hey, I think I'm not all right. I am not well. And then we would discuss. After that, we received a communication from the correctional services that he is hospitalized. I asked, what's the cause? They never responded to that. I asked, what is the cause? They never told. There was a time when, I'll come to that. Yeah, so we would conduct visits. There was a time when we were conducting to pay a visit with Mr. Mutobu. But they said, no, you can't see him. He's in isolation because he's very sick. We don't know what the sickness is. That was not what. A lot of things. I'll be fast forwarding. But if you want me to slow down, just, yeah. Towards the year end of 2020, he gave us a call telling us he needs financial boost, which would gather all the sons and daughters to execute that. It was an easy task to do because they were all, and they are all his children. It was simple for them to come on board. We did that and we would do as we could. While we were busy doing that, I received a call that, hey, there is a play called Mubango. Your father's name is there. I don't really watch this soapies. So I went on YouTube and Googled Amos Mbedzi Mubango. Hey, that character was of a corrupt government official, which is the total opposite of who Amos Mbedzi is. I was very angry. Then I made some calls. I believe I'm not sure if I called Comrade Solly. I'm not sure if I texted or what. But then it came down to me finding out who the person acting was. I figured it's Chinwani Farsani's son. I confronted him, said, hey, this is not good. While we're busy with those confrontations, private number calling with my dad. Hey, young man, I'm seeing the officials here telling me that also people of my country are endorsing the accusations I have here. What's going on? Hey. Yeah, now that my father has spoken, I was super angry. Yeah, but I'm glad there was an elderly person when I met with the Chenwani Farasan, and I questioned him on this. He said, hey, I don't know anything, but I'll confront the boy. I was like, okay. 2-3 months down the line, the character arises again. Like, hey, which one is this one? You know. But anyway, I will not dwell more on that. We would speak figuratively, even when we are there. He would tell me things. He would give me sensitive information, which I have and I have stored well, and I know. But he also guided me on how to go about executing that information. When my old granny died, I spent 2 nights without sleeping. My heart was so painful. But it was not more of me. It was more of him. We would sit with the family and brainstorm on how are we going to tackle this. While we were still on that, the information was already in the media. The communication we received from the correctional service was that the old man has been attacked by stroke after hearing his mother's death. He was hospitalized. And then while he was able to make a call, he called. You could hear that his jaws couldn't move well. I think he called her, explaining that, hey, that death, it ended me. And we would go about saying, no, man, keep on, man, you're very strong, man. Tell our strength. So if you're our strength and you're not strong, hey, we are doomed. So keep strong, what. Yeah. So after that, actually amidst that, it was an addition on top of the unknown sickness which he was suffering from. So it was very bad. We tried to reach out to various organizations that, hey, that man needs help. How can we assist one another for at least his health? If he's not doing that side, can we please work that he comes to this side? And we would receive, answers. We would receive answers. We'll be addressing a matter of life and death. Somebody will come and say, hey, young man, you see, the problem is the people who are supposed to deal with this matter, they've got business interests that side. Okay. Hey, don't make me cry. Yeah, no, it was, I believe also Rodzani explained well yesterday of how many doors we have knocked. I can strongly say this. If yesterday's program and today's program, I don't know about today, I think today, yeah. Yesterday's program specifically, if it was based only on those who were there for Comrade Amos Mbedzi, it was going to be a very short program. A very short program. And if here, the minimum requirement for being here was to at least be one who was there for Mr. Mbedzi in his darkest days, there wouldn't be a need for a tent. Maybe we would get an umbrella or two. Yeah, I'm speaking it lightly because I don't want to get emotional. Yeah, so that's why it should be lightweight. So, yeah, it has been that bad. Nevertheless, I highly respect the character of my father. He witnessed neglection while he was still alive, and in his darkest hours, he witnessed neglection. However, that didn't shaft him from his principles. He remained loyal to the unloyal. He remained honest to the conspirators. He loved even his traitors. People didn't hear that. His traitors. It's the sad truth. It's the sad truth. We would witness a lot of things. We would be dying there, worrying about our dead, crying, knocking on doors. This line is gonna make me emotional. Okay, knocking on doors. Somebody would be using that for fame. Somebody will be using that to campaign political stuff. Yeah. We witnessed that. There was a night not so long. I'll come back to what I was saying. There was a night not so long. I was traveling with Comrade Tanyani Rabura, late night. And he was telling me, hey, young man, I never see you participating in these political activities. Are you part of the youth league? Are you part of the what? I was like, nah, no. He asked me that while we were sitting at Comrade Mutsu's house. So I just maneuvered saying, nah. Respecting Comrade Mutsu because, hey, I wouldn't want to back here. We tried directly to the president. We didn't have an actual plan on how to get to him because they, yeah. And then there were campaigns last year towards the end. And then I heard it's coming to Makonde. I gathered a few young men, made some posters with a picture of my father, Return Safe Amos Mbedzi. Then we established where we asked local comrades that we want to do this. When the president arrives. We just want to be standing there with this poster. Maybe it's going to grab his attention. And the local comrades were like, yeah, it's fine. We also need that. We want that man back. Okay, gathered the young men, and then they were stationed. I even asked the road the president is going to use when he enters. And they went and stationed those young boys. Yeah. Oh, I moved. I don't remember what I was doing. But when I came back, I saw a bunch of comrades, of people, cornering those boys. So I came there, hey, wow, what's going on? Like, hey, we know your father's story, and we can help you, but not this way. I was like, yeah. So if you knew all along, were you waiting for this? They manhandled me. One of them held me here. It was an elderly buff guy, whom I'm not going to disclose the name. Yeah, but if you want, I will come and... Yeah, he manhandled me, choked me there, took that poster, took the posters of all the boys. Yeah, I was angry. And fortunate enough, I had my specs in my pocket. I was just like, I went to the toilet and cried a lot. I wasn't necessarily crying about what happened, but what happened triggered a lot of things. That it's easy for politicians to stop your effort. It's easy for them to not be there, to do that effort. But when you do that effort, it's easy for them to stop you. So all the memories were coming. The commitment of my dad to politics, how much we missed of him because of politics. And yet, but it was fortunate because I got linked to Comrade Mutsu. I went to him. When I got there, for sure he was wondering, hey, what's wrong with this guy now? Before I could speak, I was crying there. I wanted to speak, but the tears just came out. Then I was like, okay, let me just... And I cried. And I was like, okay, I'm good now. Okay. I was like, hey, didn't want to Amos Mbedzi. The pharaoh wanted to go to the Father Ramaphosa. Mara at Kowina. Where the son in the I handed the letter to him. He read that letter. After reading that letter, he kept quiet, looking up. And he was like, no, give it to me. I am to see the president after he addresses the people. I gave to him. And then when the president got off the stage, he spoke very few words. And then he introduced me. And then I said my story. And then I gave him the letter and then I left. Okay. Fast forward. The old man, I received a communication from the, what are these people? When do I have Roman as the email? High Commission. Yeah, an email from the High Commission saying that, hey, Amos Mbedzi is very sick. We want a member of the family to come immediately to come and take care of him. The member of the family must be staying here. Release him. That was not attended. Yeah, and then time went. They communicated and said, hey, we want your father's copy of ID. Hey, we don't have. We want your father's, just give us the names, it's fine. We're rushing everything. And then I was checking on social media, Swaziland, the pages. And I was ready, saying, they're plotting to release him in fear that he would die there. So I was with Mr. Mutobu that day. So they brought him this side. He was there in Hoshimampuru. We went there. When we got there, my main engine, I am happy you are here. And then he started elaborating. This guy has gone through thick and thin. For me, I don't know if I will ever be able to repay. And he would still respond with this simple answer. Yeah. So we chatted and chatted, checking the situation of his health. There was no way we could be in deep conversations with him. So we were comforting him, giving him strength and all. Yeah. He was finding it hard to breathe. Like he was breathing like. Then we spoke with those nurses. How about to transfer him to a proper, and our nurses here. Then he had this major hiccup. Amongst other things, his body was swollen. He was very weak. I don't know why. It was not because of stroke. Perhaps. Maybe I'm still yet to discover. Though I have. Okay, yeah, I'm still yet to discover. He was very weak. That was not because of stroke, because we paid him a lot of visits after he was attacked by stroke. I remember this at that time. He was on a wheelchair. They were pushing him in. Then it went and stopped there. And then he looked at me. I was at this side, looked at me, and I was like, young man, if you want a challenge to a fight, I can give it to you right like this, expressing how strong he is. And then on this other visit, he was like, young man, I can still walk from here to there. Let me show you. Hey, big boy, come. Called that inmate who was assisting him. Yeah, and then they stood him up. We're like, ah. So, even though witnessed a lot of neglection, even though his body was letting him down. So that hiccup